Russians were manipulating the market and increasing prices before the invasion. And why I think it's so important that you said that today is because let's all ask ourselves, what was President Biden doing while this was going on and ahead of that going on? Well, he was cutting off U.S. pipelines and creating a difficult regulatory environment for made-in-America oil and gas. You guys are to blame. That is what you were doing, and everybody should be pointing their fingers at you, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have any questions for you. I do want to talk about Development Finance Corporation. I do have your budget request right here, what you're asking for from we the people, the American people, and I do have the EESDA in front of me right here. Want to go over a few parts of it, as I did with Mr. Nathan a couple days ago, and want to know your opinion on these. Part of the EESDA specifically says to facilitate international negotiations concerning cross-border infrastructure. Should I understand cross-border infrastructure as it relates to the energy and EESDA as pipelines?
Thank you for the question, Congressman.
Is it pipelines?
As I think CEO Nathan mentioned in his testimony, cross-border infrastructure would include infrastructure for energy. That's our mandate under.
Cross-border would be a pipeline. That's a pipeline that goes across a border,
well,
right?
For example, in the energy, if you look at the project eligibility guidelines in the Act.
Is it a pipeline among other
electricity
things?
Transmissions.
Is it a pipeline among other things?
Well, I think it could be.
Are you against pipelines?
Well,
are you for pipelines? Are you for pipelines?
The Act discusses.
Let's go with that one. Are you for pipelines?
Congressman, I appreciate the question.
Yes or no? For pipelines, yes.
In my personal capacity, I have been really honored to have this opportunity to serve.
I'm not worried about how honored you are. Are you for pipelines?
With respect, Congressman, my personal opinion is.
This is what people hate about Washington, D.C. It's a simple question. You're asking for money from the U.S. taxpayer to do cross-state infrastructure overseas as related to energy. Are you for pipelines or not?
I think that the Development Finance Corporation is interested in advancing any project that can deliver energy security for our allies.
It does say diversity on here, energy diversity, and it does say renewable and non-renewable fuels. That's the EESDA. So are you for pipelines?
In the Act, the project eligibility.
So you won't say for pipelines. It's yes or no.
Allows us to work on projects that can deliver electricity generating capacity using fossil or clean energy.
So you're for fossil fuel use?
And we will advance.
You're for the DFC.
The DFC will
creating a friendly regulatory environment.
If I could interrupt,
no, you
allow. Yes, I can.
No, you can't. It's not your
yes,
time.
I can,
no,
sir.
you can't.
Sir,
you guys messed
you'd like an
all
argument.
Up.
Allow him to answer the question in all due respect.
There's no respect taken.
Evidently, there's no respect given.
That's because you guys are messing up energy
Chair
for our
recognizes
country.
the witness to
you
answer
guys
a
are
question that was posed to him.
Ridiculously expensive for Americans, and you don't want to be questioned about it.
Are you pleased you're getting the soundbite, sir? I'm not going to participate in it.
Don't participate then. Close your mouth and let me ask my questions. Don't participate. Let me
close my mouth, sir.
Yes, you heard it directly. That's why you sound so offended, because you heard what I said. So let's do that and let me finish asking my questions.
Allow them to answer the question.
If he wanted to answer the question, he could. Let's get back to the questions that you don't want to answer. Do you support pipelines? We know that you don't. We talked about what Mr. Light said already, that the Russians were working to manipulate these markets ahead of the invasion into the Ukraine. And what was the Biden administration doing? Absolutely nothing. They were cutting off pipelines here in the United States of America, creating a difficult regulatory environment for oil and gas exploration. You guys are to blame for this. You're interrupting me because you don't want Democrats to have to answer for what Democrats have been doing in the House of Representatives, what the administration has been doing as it relates to energy, cutting off 25,000 jobs as it relates to the XL pipeline, 800,000 barrels a day of oil to the United States of America. You're willing to ask for money for the Development Finance Corporation, money from we the people in the United States of America to develop energy infrastructure overseas, reduce the regulatory environment for energy infrastructure to include fossil fuel usage overseas, but you'll cut it off here for made in America from sea to shining sea, and you guys are absolutely wrong because of it. Now you can have 2 seconds back.
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
You did you say not that any alternative would be available in terms of the AOC? And you do, given the fact you weren't allowed to answer the question, the opportunity to answer the question.
He was allowed. I offered him plenty of opportunities to answer. He didn't want to answer. Very simple yes or no.
Gentleman's time has
Do you
expired.
support pipelines?
The witness
Well,
shall
you
give
just
the
have my
opportunity to answer a question.
I should get
was
that
posed.
time back that you took when you were interrupting me. Why don't we give that back?
Gentlemen will have the opportunity
Not
to answer
interested
the
in
question.
that? All right, I guess
Mr.
that's too
thank
democratic.
You, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, sir, for your question.
I'll ask all the panel members, please,
That hammer's
give
very
the decorum with the respect that this committee deserves and the respect our witnesses deserve, the respect that the public is here deserve. Allow the gentleman to answer this question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I simply would like to just underscore that under the authority that DFC has from the European Energy Security and Diversification Act, designed to help provide energy security to our allies, particularly of importance during this wartime, we will pursue projects that can deliver energy security to Europe. In the project eligibility section of the Act, and I would encourage you to consult with that section, Mr. Mast, there is specific delineation of what types of projects may be eligible for DFC financing. And there is discussion of electricity transmission infrastructure, there is discussion of energy storage, there is discussion of electricity generating capacity, yes, for both fossil fuels and clean energy. And I'm not aware of any specific eligibility for pipelines. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Muser for 5 minutes.